Hi guys, welcome back. Now we're in a new chapter, and in this chapter we're going to continue to progress with our knowledge and start looking at some really cool features within blueprints, okay? So what's the idea of this chapter? Well, we'll talk about how to create what I call floating widgets, okay? You may have heard of widgets before, but basically they are like the widgets we've been creating, but you see them on screen when you're in the actual scene, okay? So you can generate when they pop up, or when you're close to an object, they can pop up and you can interact with them as your first person character, okay? So also we can give you a demonstration of how that works as we progress, as we've always done in this course, so you can understand why we're doing it, how they work, okay? So that's our focus for this chapter. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Can't wait to get started. Should we do it then? Okay, so here I've migrated this blueprint that's already complete, and I'll show you where we want to get to, what we want to build, okay, which is shown here when I push play. Okay, so here we have the menu we've created in the last chapter. Remember, it loads for us. Okay, and now here's our blueprint, and you see that? So you can see this lamp moving up and down, and this little icon of the lamp when we're looking at it. See that? Nice. So when you mouse over it, you see that little 2D element to let us know that this lamp is interactive. Okay, cool. Now this is called a sprite. Okay, not the drink, but it's called a sprite. Okay, it's a 2D element that's in our 3D scene. And you can see it's always facing the character, okay? It doesn't matter where we are, as long as we're looking at it, you'll see it, okay? So it's a really cool feature for us to understand how to create and use within our ArcViz scenes. Cool. And then clicking on it, you can clearly see that the blueprint turns on. Nice. Okay, so that's what we're going to be creating together. And that's what I call a floating widget. It's good to have these within scenes like this because it makes it more interesting for the user going around. And they're like, oh, there's something to interact with there. And they click on it. Okay, so it's more immersive. It's a really nice way of keeping the interest of the person in your scene. Okay, so I brought this just to explain what we're going to be doing, so you can see where you want to be getting to at the end of this section. Okay, so that is the lamp. This lamp over here doesn't have any function. That's just as we created before. So let me do this. I'll delete this blueprint. That's just our example, and we'll work with this over here. Okay, and what's the first thing we need to be doing? Well, the first thing we need to do is to create a widget. Okay, the little lamp is just a widget, that little floating lamp. Okay, so let's see how we can set that up. So it's going to be set up as a sprite, a 2D icon. So first we need to create the widget for it. So let's do that together now. First we need to go to the content browser, and I'll go to the right folder for widgets. That's where we're keeping all the widgets together that we made so far. And we'll right click, go to user interface at the bottom here, widget blueprint, and I'll name it widget light. Okay, as it's a little light bulb. Okay, cool. So I need to place it in here, the icon, somewhere. But let's go from the beginning of how we need to create this. So one thing I'll tell you though, first of all, is, we looked at the proportion of the screen before, didn't we? We spoke about the resolution, 1920, 1080, and how it all changes depending on the screen that you're putting your widget on. Now, this is quite important for us because we need to bear in mind the screen size at all times. And you can see here the different ratio. But because we're using a floating widget, we don't need to have such a massive screen resolution, okay? But we do need to have a resolution that fits the needs that we have. So a size like this might be fine for us because it's not massive on the screen, is it? It's just floating. So whatever's in here is going to be shown, whatever's outside won't. So for me, I always like to work in 1920 1080 in full HD because I know that this is the size of my screen. So I need to have this this proportion to see if an icon is going to fit or not. Okay, I find it easier to work that way at the beginning. And of course, you can test other resolutions and you'll see what best fits your needs. Okay, so it's just a matter of a reference of a space to work. So the first thing I'll do is I'll create the image to start with. Okay, so we'll keep it 1920 1080 for now. We'll create the image. That light bulb icon is not a button. The icon itself is not interactive, but there will be an interactive blueprint. Okay, so this will just be an image that moves on the screen just to show you that that is a point of interaction. Okay, so I'll add an image here. Now we've got our image. Let's just think about the workflow here. Our idea is that this is going to jump up and down, right? Like hopping up and down, okay, as an animation. So, you know, we could make it jump up and down and shake. So it pops up from the bottom when we're close to the object, to give the idea of, look, hey, pick me, press me. Okay, so that's the idea. I'm going to anchor it though, first of all, and I'll use a center at the bottom. Okay, and at this point now, I can rename it. Let's rename it to light icon. And I'll position it at 0, 0 for now. Okay. And I'll center the alignment. Okay, so we'll center that. And we'll place it where we want it to be. But first, let's add the image so we've got a better idea of how it's going to fit. Okay, so we'll add an image. Okay, so here it is. Here's the icons. I've got some here that I've already put in, and this is the one we'll use for our light. It's a bit, yeah, it's a bit squashed, isn't it? So let's just get the proportion right. So we need to size the content first of all. There we go. So we've got the icon. Now it's pretty big. We just need to reposition it. And I've already got some of these values written down because I've done it before. But if I'm using size to content, there's no point in changing this here, right? Because it's already locked. So no matter what I put in, it's not going to affect it. If it's on size to content, it will consider the content size, in this case, this image. So you can edit the image size. Let's say 70 by 90, which is what I've used before on the other one. Okay, so it's just a little icon, 70 by 90, and I'll place it where I need it to show up. So right now it's not showing because it's outside of the screen, right? So we want it to be in the screen, don't we? So you can either edit the position like this or the alignment. You know, you can try both. Cool. Let's use the alignment values. Okay. And we'll use the alignment of 2. So from here to here, it's 2. Cool. So there we go. Our icon is being created. Nice. And my widget icon is looking good. Save that. So what's the next step now? Well, we've created the widget, and now we should add it to the screen so we can test it out. So how do we do it? How do we do that? Well, there is a tool in Unreal. We used it when we created the menu. We created a blueprint, which is here as well, by the way. I'll turn it on so we can see it. There we go. Actually, let's delete it, because since we're running some tests, that menu will be coming up all the time and that might confuse us. So yeah, it's that loading screen, you remember? So we can just delete that for now. By the way, this is one of the advantages of Blueprint Actors. If I don't want it to work anymore, I just delete it from the scene. So everything we had done with the programming won't be ruined. We can just remove it from the screen, and later on, if we want it back in the scene, and then we just put it back. Okay. So what do we need to do now? Well, we've created a widget and a blueprint that is related to it. And in this case, this is a widget that will be linked to this blueprint. Okay, so I guess this is a practical part of what we looked at before, but it doesn't make sense to have a widget without a blueprint. Okay, so by the way, it's the blueprint that will define the position of where it will be on screen. So I'll do this in the blueprint first. Let's open it up. All right, so this is the blueprint as it is now. Now there is a way to add one more component that is specifically for this in the blueprint. It's called widget RGB. So you type in widget, you'll find it. It's this one here. And you can change its name. Back in the day it was called RGB. I think they've changed it now, but that's fine. We'll call it widget light because it's related to the light, just so we get used to it. All right, so what happens here? So it includes a widget that has a position here, right? It has a position in this area. What it does now is if you mouse over it, it will show up for you. Okay, so this component creates a surface in the 3D environment where I can render the widget, or in other words, where it's visible to us. Now, for those who are used to 3D, sometimes we want to add a JPEG image to a screen. Maybe you want to use, I don't know, we use it a lot in other programs. Maybe you want an opacity map, or maybe you just want to show something on the screen that just hovers up in a 3D space. Well, that's literally what we're doing. Okay, we're adding a texture to it so that it can just pop up in the 3D world, even though it's a 2D object. So we can render the widget. And the widget is, as we said, a 2D element. So if you think about it as an image, then we need to print it to our screen. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And then we've got these tools here in the details panel where we can set all of that up. And there are several of these, but I'll just show you the most important settings that we need for now, which are basically these ones here. Okay, so it helps us to manipulate some of the key details, and yeah, they're really useful. So for space, we have two types, world and screen. Okay, so I'll tell you and we'll test them later. So we'll skip this for now. So that's what they are, world and screen. This is real time, game time. Okay, and this is the most important one, the widget class. Which widget class do you want to print here? Okay, and this is where you can choose what kind of widget you want to print in the RGB value. So far there's a separate widget blueprint, and this is where we can connect both. So I'll rename it to widget light. Oops, two of them. So it's duplicated with another one we had. Let me change that. Widget ArcViz. Okay, so you can just rename them to set them apart. So this one will be widget light ArcViz. Okay, see how interesting that is. So it created it already for us. So, but why is it shown on this at this size? Okay, it's referencing, isn't it? So this is, but it's printing for us on the screen, isn't it? So we can move it up and down and place it wherever we want it to be. So I'll show you how to do it here. Just place it maybe around here, and we'll push play so we can see how it's working. Okay. Right, so we can see the loading menu's not showing anymore. That's great. Our crosshair has gone though, hasn't it? I think actually, yeah, we linked it to the menu, didn't we? So we might have to bring that back in. Let's change that now. We might have to place it in somewhere else so we can use this in our test. Okay, so let's put this somewhere else. We'll go back and set up the menu again. And I'll go to my crosshair blueprint, which is in the scene, and I'll include it so that we can at least look at the object we're pointing at. Okay, and let's just test it now. There we go. Okay, so we got our crosshair back in. Great. So now, where is the widget that we created? Let's just see. It's there. You see it? So there we go. And that's what we mean by rendering on screen. Pretty big though, I know. But it's taking up the physical space that we set for it. So basically, it's like I created a mask. Okay? So there we go. So that's basically how it works. Of course, we need to fine tune it. So we need to move it so that we just adjust it so it moves with our screen, our character. No matter where we're looking, we can still see it. But that's the basic setup for now. Okay. So we were talking before about space and world, weren't we? And these widgets, they have coordinates and different sizes that we can adjust. So we should be able to make it do exactly as we set out in our example before, because we want it to face the camera at all times, don't we? Okay, so as we move, it should move along with us. Let's do that together now. So where can we set this up? Well, here in the widget light, we have space, which is the place it will be shown. And here I have the option for world. And it says the widget will be rendered in the world as a mesh in the world. So it has preset space, a position, a location. And by the way, the location is 28 by 157, obviously related to our blueprint. And this is not the world dimension, but the dimension related to the blueprint position. Okay. There's another option, which is this one here. What will rule though is the screen, not the position of the world. That'll take priority. So the position is the position of the screen that is taken into consideration. Okay. So let's push play now and let's see what happens. Okay, it's gone way up there now, hasn't it? Okay, but we can clearly see it, can't we? Okay, and it's a smaller size. If I go back here, it's changed, but it's always there. And it changes size relative to my position. Okay, so what do we have to do now? Let's place it here. So we need to find a position that works for this. A bit of, trial and error. Let's see if we can put it near the base. Actually, no. Let's put it on top of the lamp. Let me change this so I can see the lampshade. Just delete the root. Cool. Okay, so that's fine now. So my widget light is at 0 and 0, and the height will be above the lampshade. Let's see how it looks. And sometimes the shortcut just don't work in there for the viewports. You have to do it manually, but don't worry. Let's place it above the lamp and see if it works now. Okay, so now we've repositioned it. Okay, it's in this position, but yeah, it's not exactly where we want it, is it? I want it to always be above the lamp relative to the camera. So maybe that option is not going to work for us. Maybe we have to do something else. The 2D texture is always the same size. That doesn't change. That's fine. No matter how far I get from it. Okay, so we've seen the difference between world and screen, right? And we'll use our screen option. Okay. The idea of changing position and everything else, we'll be able to adjust later. But basically, we'll have to find a position that we want first. Okay. And we'll have to test it to find out, whether it's the right position for us. Trial and error, backwards and forwards. Okay. So, right, let's test this. Okay. So obviously it won't be displaying all the time. but we're not far away from getting the ideal size. But even though I come that far away, you can still see it. So we need to adjust that. We'll adjust the position and everything else now then. Let's keep it here for now, just above the lamp first of all. Make some other adjustments. So there is a feature that I like to use. It's called billboard. Let's search for that. And what does this do? Well, it creates a 2D texture that's always facing the camera. You know, in this case, by default, it's a dinosaur. You know, you can change that if you want. Put your own logo, any image you want. Okay, so we can place it here. Okay, so first it always follows where we are. If I save it here, we can have a look. You see that? So it follows the position of the camera. And I can use it because the widget is transparent as well. Okay, so there's no reference to it, so I just link it to the billboard, and it provides, you know, gives us a similar effect, doesn't it? But I can move the billboard to place it in a better position as well. So it's a reference, and I can use it as a reference of the position of the actual icon for my widget. Okay. Cool. So there we go. Let's reduce the scale a little bit. 0.3. Let's try that. Just so we can have a reference. Okay. Nice. And also, I know that in my workflow, there is a widget because I'm always seeing the logo. So it's good to be able to see that logo and go, okay, widget, as we set them all up. Okay, so this helps us to identify what's going on in the scene. We'll leave that there for now and move on so we don't get too confused in the process. All right, so here we've got everything in a good place before we move any further. The size of the logo is good. If you think the logo is too big or too small though, you can adjust it if you want to. Where are my widgets? There they go. Okay, so what determines the size is the proportion, right? In pixels. So you can adjust them here to make it bigger or smaller. So let's suppose we'll use 150 and 200 and just test it. Don't need a crosshair anymore. Let's play. Okay, you see that? It's bigger, right? So this is how you control the proportion when we're using screen mode. And let's put that back. Cool. So that's it. So what defines it is this value. So we can just go back to where we were, 70 and 90. And let's move on. Okay, so we understood how to create a widget, how to make it float, and how to add it to a hierarchy like this. In case you didn't notice, we don't even need to add a routine here, okay, to create or to add widgets. That's it, because basically it's all done in here. It already exists, okay? So we've got our widget component in there. So it assumes it will be in the scene. That's how that tends to work. All right, so we saw how to create those new components, how to get them working. We've created our blueprint. We've added this as a component inside the blueprint. Nice stuff. I think that's a good place to pause for this class. And we can continue the next one to take it a little bit further. Okay. Oh, and look, if I push play, we can still see it here showing up nicely. Okay. So we've got our reference of where the widget or the icon is going to be shown. Okay, cool. So we'll implement everything else on the first person. As we continue, we'll see how we can put the commands in, work on nodes and other connections between the blueprints. Okay. See you in the next class.